What's up, tennis fans? Sleepy Picks here. We got a semifinal to talk about between Arthur Fils and Flavio Cobolli. Let's take a look at the matchup. And this is going to be a great semifinal matchup filled with shot making. We got Arthur Fils taking on Flavio Cobolli. Head to head is 2-0 in favor of Fils. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about Fils' path to the semifinals first. It will be Hanfman in straight sets, Lehechka in three, Demonar in straights in the fourth round, and then tonight in the quarterfinals, beating Taranti 6-3, 6-2. And this was after about the first like 5 games, it was all Fils. The forehand was just booming. He was able to connect with a lot of his serves. And once he got up a break in that second set, you really saw his game start to explode. He started to take a few more risks, throwing in the drop shot. His main game plan here was just to get the ball out to that Taranti backhand, which we kind of saw from Lerner Tien was able to do that last tournament in Montreal. And once you kind of do that, you end up getting Taranti starting to force that forehand a little bit too much. He doesn't see as many forehands, so when he finally gets one look, he tries to go a little bit big. I thought these guys did have some really great rallies, and that variety on the forehand from Fils with the heavy spin and the flat aggressive ball, he was just able to really throw Taranti off. And we got to give our hats off to Taranti for making it to a quarterfinal here, and I think that was a quarterfinal last week as well. So a couple of great tournaments for him heading into the U.S. Open. I can't wait to see what he does there. And again, some credit to Fils as well. Let's keep in mind he really hasn't played. I can't remember the last major he's played where we've seen him fully healthy. Knock on wood, he'll be ready to go for the U.S. Open, but had to pull out of the French Open this year due to a hip injury. Came back in Wimbledon, really didn't have any tune-up, and just looked a little bit rusty, especially like game-wise. His game management gets better and better by the match. You start to see him play with a lot of confidence, and I think that's something that he can really start to build on at the U.S. Open. So I can't wait to see what he does there, too. Let's talk about Cobolli's path to the semifinals, beating Kekmanovic in 3 sets, Alexander Blocks in three, Rafael Hadar in three, and Tommy Paul in 3 sets today. And, guys, Cobolli coming back from a set down against Hadar wins that match. Coming back from a set down against Tommy Paul wins that match. I mean, this has been a great run here for Cobolli. And we know this guy's like a freight train. Once he starts to get going, it's extremely hard to step in front of him and stop him. Tommy Paul came out and he was playing phenomenal tennis. He was aggressive, taking the ball early, not giving Cobolli many chances. Cobolli was missing left and right, but I honestly kind of attribute the majority of that to the way that Paul was playing. We get to around like the middle of that second set, and it really, like, Paul was really playing for about a set and a half. Just like very strong tennis, and you were feeling like there's going to be a dip. It's very rare, for any of these guys to play, wire to wire tennis, like where they're just playing so strong. And you knew Paul was going to have this little bit of a dip and how he was going to face it. Gets broken. Cobolli's able to win that second set. And then we get to the third, and it's a lot of back and forth at the 3-all game. Tommy Paul has this long back and forth deuce, a lot of break points. I think 4 break points for Cobolli. Tommy saves every single one. He gets up to 4-3, and you start to think, maybe this is his match. He just saved all these games. But Cobolli does such a great job at, the next game to get to 4-all. He holds at 40-15. Gets up to 40-love in about, like, a minute and a half. So, like, before Paul even knows it, that pressure's right back on you, on your serve. And, for me, I'm very curious. So at the 4-all game, they get the new balls, and Tommy's first serve percentage just plummeted. And maybe it was because, like, the balls are a little bit live. I don't know. But he gets broken in that 4-all game. And a lot of that to me is just he just was struggling to put the first serve in. And he does this thing sometimes where, if he's not making that first serve, he'll just go for like a slider serve. And I think, when you start to get a Cobolli that's kind of grooved into a return, it's so hard to put a slider in there because this guy's just going to rope it back at you. So Cobolli was able to break Hall to go up 5-4 and then holds for 6-4 to win that third set. And, again, a great performance, and he really withstood that level of Tommy for about a set and a half because it looked like it was going to be Tommy Paul's match in straight sets in about like an hour and a half. But this is what we've seen Cobolli do all season. He just hangs around, kind of waits for your level to dip, and then he strikes. And then that forehand he starts to pummel that forehand into the corners, and it really is. Once he gets going, it's such a suffocating game because you got him attacking your second serve, you got him attacking all your short balls. His defense is phenomenal. How many times, guys, do we see Tommy Paul on offense at the net, and Cobolli's either passing him, throwing up a lob? Just incredible stuff here for Cobolli to get this match done. Let's talk about the records here between these two guys. We got Arthur Fils coming in. He's 17-5 on the hard courts this year, 10-6 last year, 15-9 the year before. He's coming off a quarterfinal loss to Rafael Hadar in Montreal. And for this summer season, he has not lost to anyone but Rafael Hadar. Cobolli, on the other hand, 13-6 on the hard courts, 9-13 last year, 26-13 the year before, coming off a head-scratching loss to Hanfman in Montreal in the second round, 7-6, 7-6 there. Head-to-head here, as we mentioned before, is 2-0 in favor of Fils. Their first meeting coming in the next-gen finals. These guys up and coming together. It was a 4-1, 4-2, 4-2 win for Fils in 2023. Then they played last year in Monte Carlo. It was a 6-2, 6-4 win for Fils there. They haven't played on the outdoor hard courts just yet, so this will be interesting to see how this matchup goes. Guys, this is another coin flip match for me because I really do feel both of these guys, when they're on, it's so hard to play their shots because you got Fils who can hit the ball so big on that forehand. He can also back it up with the variety. You got Cobolli who can put the pressure on you on the return, on your short balls. He's got his big serve that he can set himself up for a surplus one. But at the same time, these guys do have dips where we see kind of the forehand start to fall off, or we see a few more errors than usual. So I'm curious to see who's going to be the one that's going to manage the match the best. And you look at both of these guys. You got Cobolli, who's made it to a Grand Slam final this year. You got Arthur Fils, who's got I think a couple of titles this year, maybe one title at the very least. Guys, I'm gonna go with Arthur Fils here, and it's so hard. Like I said, it's so hard to step in front of Cobolli because he really is a freight train. But I love what I'm seeing from Fils. I love the movement. I love the aggression. I'm curious to see how Cobolli kind of handles the pace of the Fils forehand. Like Tommy was doing a good job taking the ball early and moving Cobolli, but now he's going to really have to handle the pace and the heavy spin from Fils. This is just going to be a battle of who can get the ball to the backhand first, really. Um, and then I like that Fils has got a little bit of variety as well. On both sides where he can kind of like throw in that drop shot and keep Cobolli honest, so Cobolli can't play that far back on the defense. He's got to be able to hedge the drop shot a little bit. So I'm going to go with Arthur Fils. I think we're going to see another tough three-setter here, guys. Even though Cobolli's never won a set against Fils, I think this still is going to be a three-setter. Cobolli's going to give it everything he's got. But give me Fils to advance in 3. Here's a look at our quarterfinal records. Got to give a shout out to Pamplemousse and Gecko for going 2-0 undefeated. And the Pamplemousse actually getting both matches correct, picking Cobolli in 3 sets, and feast in straights. Very impressive stuff there from the Pamplemousse, who has now hit the 50 win mark in this tournament. Gecko hitting the 60 win mark as we predicted would happen. Couple new commenters giving us their picks. Gotta love that. Gonna give you guys a shout out, put you on here in the records with the rest of us. I'm at 1-1. Hopefully we can continue into the semifinals. And as always, guys, thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. Love hearing everything from our commenters. We're getting a lot more commenters now, and I can't wait till we get into the U.S. Open where we can really break down all of these matches. I think we're going to have a really good tournament in New York. Looking forward to the semifinal tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next video.